the fire service?
Yes, my dad was the officer in the Martham Fire Brigade, and we used to have a siren outside on the wall near the front door and a telephone. And if we got a phone call for a fire, my father used to wait and say, let me get dressed first before you blow the siren. Bit crafty. And he'd blow the siren and all these men would bike down to the Martham Fire Station, which was in Reps Road in them days, and off they'd go to the fire.
How long were you working for the fire service for?
I was a retained fire officer at Martham Fire Station for 30 years, from 75 to 2005. I actually retired in 2005. I was made up to what they call a leading firefighter in 1982, and then 3 years later I was made up as the officer in charge of the station, so I ran the station on my own right through until 2005. We used to get turned out roughly about 4 times a week. The maximum, I think, calls we had was about just over 200 in a year. Now I think they do between 50 and 60. I can remember during the long hot summer of 1976, I actually set off for work at 8:30 in the morning. I almost got to work and my pager went off, and we had 17 calls within 24 hours. I didn't get home until the following evening at 4 o'clock, and we were on the go all the while, so it was well over 24 hours that we were out solidly going from various calls.
Throughout your time, was there any false alarms or odd calls that you would receive?
During the sort of 80s and 90s, unfortunately, children used to think it was a great fun to come down on holiday to Hemsby, because they thought they couldn't be traced or caught, and they used to put in alarms to say that various things was on fire in Hemsby and surrounding areas. Of course, a complete waste of time and resources. A particular firefighter, he had rather large ears, which used to sort of stand out rather a bit. And we nearly used to send him up, because if there was a cat on a roof, he would just put his head above the parapet, look over, they would see him, and they would actually shoot off the roof on their own accord. So we didn't have to actually rescue them. They used to rescue themselves. We were called down to one of the holding chalets on the beach at Hemsby. And we got the call just as persons trapped. When we turned up, we were confronted by quite a large gentleman who said that his wife had taken a bath, quite a large lady, and she unfortunately couldn't get out. She was just unable to get out of the bath. So we had to sort of rather grab some blankets and to protect her modesty a little bit and retrieve her from the bathtub.
Yeah, in 1938, when the sea came through at Horsey and flooded all the marshes, killed all the salt, killed all the trees on the marshes. But there's a long road between Somerton and Horsey, but that was all flooded through. Roy Randall, who was milkman, he got stuck on the middle of this road with the floods, and he had to get onto the roof of his van and stay there all night, and it was rescued the next day.
The floods took so long to clear that every weekend cars and cars came to Martham, and we couldn't see out of our windows for weeks, because every weekend the cars were all parked. It took ages to go, for the water to subside, and then because when it did subside, because it was salt water, all the vegetation and all the trees were just dead, just killed.